Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing 5 books that made a serious impact on my life as a child, as a young adult, as a adult, and so on. Anywho, we'll just jump right in, shall we? Excuse me. Alright, so first up we've got The Secret Life of Bees by Sue Monk Kidd. Here she is. A friend recommended this to me a few years ago and I completely took her word for it, didn't do any research, didn't even read the blurb, just ploughed straight into it. Naturally, I expected it to be about a little bee going about his daily life, waking up in the morning in the hive, having some honey for breakfast, going to bee school, maybe grabbing some pollen from the big flower on the way home. Along comes a big wasp, they all flee the hive, and it's all rounded off with a big musical number. Maybe I'm a Bee by the Black Eyed Peas? No. I'm a Bee. Sorry. You can't have a musical number in a book, so. But anyway, if you are looking for a wholesome story about bees, this isn't the book for you. You should go watch the Bee movie. But if you do want a story about violent racism in South Carolina with just a sprinkling of beekeeping content throughout, then this is your gal. Why did this book impact me? Well, other than the shock of it not being a wholesome story about bees, I think it set out the underlying tensions and racism really well because it was actually like blunt and in your face and kind of scary at times. I think I must have been kind of young when I first read it because I found it intense. So it's written from the perspective of Lily, who is a 14-year-old girl who grew up believing that she accidentally killed her mother when she was 4. Lily's only friend is her black housekeeper, Rosaline, and one day Rosaline goes to try and cast her vote and gets violently attacked. So Lily and Rosaline up and leave, they run away, pack their things, they're gone, they're out of there. Skates on, we're out, Rosaline. So they're on the run and they end up finding this basically sanctuary where there are 3 sisters who are beekeepers and they take them in and look after them. And there's actually some really nice wholesome moments in the book where Lily is kind of discovering the world and nature and female power and like how to love herself. It's also a quick read, which I like, and the book kind of just has this vibe that's like unusual and colourful and really warm at times, and I haven't really found any other books that have a similar vibe, so this story is just prominent in my memory. So yeah, if you haven't read it already, I would definitely recommend that you do. Get in there. Cool. Nexty ho, Life of Pi by Yann Martel. Excuse my elbow there, not sure why. Oh, I've done that very awkwardly, haven't I? Ouch, just about bloody dislocated my shoulder there. Worthwhile. So yeah, okay, this is about an Indian boy called Pi. He ends up in a shipwreck in the Pacific Ocean and ends up spending a considerable amount of time in a lifeboat with a tiger, Richard Parker. Pi's dad is a zookeeper, so naturally they had a number of animals with them on the original ship, and one thing led to another, and now this is the situation. There's Pi, and there's Richard. And basically it's about Pi trying to survive, using his imagination to get through this ridiculous water adventure ride with Richard Parker. So he's hunting marine life, and basically sticking to his own area of the lifeboat. Richard's up front, navigating. No. They're not really working as a team, which is their downfall. As you can see, Richard's taking up half the bloody boat there. But beggars can't be choosers. You don't get to pick your shipwreck survival boat crew. On that, do you think you would rather face a tiger or a shark? I've just noticed there's a heck of a lot of sharks in the water there. Yeah, I reckon tiger. Thoughts? I mean, I'm a really weak swimmer, so as soon as I'm in the ocean, I'm dead regardless. But if I was if it was in a shallow paddling pool, I reckon maybe shark. I think sharks just bite and go. Tap and gag. Click and collect. Yeah, I don't think sharks eat humans, whereas a tiger, well, I can see a tiger turning it into a whole buffet situation. Anyway, the book. Really good storytelling. It involves a lot of flashbacks where we get to learn about Pi's background and upbringing. There's heaps of little snippets of wisdom and interesting bits about religion. Like Pi's trying to figure out his religion. He's tossing up between Christian, Hindu and Muslim religions, but then I think in the end he just chooses God, which is, well, it's a simple answer, I suppose. One thing to mention is it does include a wee bit of cannibalism and murder. What good book doesn't? But yeah, it was something really different and it left a huge impression on me. And the movie's actually really good. I think it got like 86% on Rotten Tomatoes or something. It's lovely, isn't it? So yeah, definitely put that one in your pipe. Alright, next, look, I'm sorry. I'm actually sorry, but I know. But one doesn't simply not mention Harry Potter. You've heard it before, I know, but it shaped my entire generation. Jeez Louise. It shaped my entire generation's upbringing, so just back off, please. Anyway, so Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was originally published in 1997, I believe, so I was 1. Naturally, I was eager to get my hands on it, but I had to learn how to read first. Still working on it, 2001 rolled around and the first movie came out. I was 5, so I still hadn't read it. I think I was up to level blue on the reading colour wheel at school, which is pretty good for a 5-year-old, just quietly, but it wasn't enough to read a novel. So luckily Mum stepped in, saved the day, started reading the book to my brother and I in the evenings. Anyway, la-di-da, we finally got up to speed. And as the years went by, eventually we were reading the books in time to go to the premieres when the movies would come out. For one of which I dressed up as Hermione, which was a mistake. There were people from my class there and I was in dress robes with crimped hair. I also sent an email to J.K. Rowling, just in passing, like nothing serious, just letting her know that I was there to take over as Hermione in from the 5th movie onwards if I was needed. Like no pressure, super casual. Whatever, but I forgot to attach a photo, so biggest mistake I've ever made. But dreams don't always come true. So yeah, basically I just tell people that I got cast as the voice of Winky and then they cut all my scenes. Anyway, I never heard back from J.K. Rowling, long story short. Funny story though, we were actually in Toronto for the premiere of the Order of the Phoenix movie, and no word of a lie, Rupert Grint was there. Sorry, but what are the odds of that? My mum took this photo. I'm going to find it and I'm going to stick it there. Or there, I don't know. Is that something you can do on iMovie? Anyway, my mum took this amazing photo and I just grabbed it off her Facebook page. How good is that photo? We're from New Zealand. We don't see celebrities. No, that's a lie. Lord sat 2 rows in front of me in the 2013 One Direction concert and I thought Harry Styles was waving at me and then I saw it was Lord and it was this real awkward. It was a whole thing, I don't want to relive it. Anyway, Rupert. My mum probably could have got a decent amount of money for that pap shot of him looking at me in the crowd. Pretty sure I had my knee-length board shorts on that day, so I do not blame him. Anyway, you get it. These books were my childhood, and the movies, and Rupert Grint. Any time that I'm feeling stressed or anxious, I just pick up one of my Harry Potter books and read it, and I feel fine again. If you haven't read them, I implore you to read them. Just do it. I'm literally wiping my arms with a wet tea towel because it's so hot in my room. Oh! If this camera falls over one more time, I'm actually gonna, I don't know, probably do nothing and just continue on with my video. Okay, so the next book is Mr. Pip by Lloyd Jones. Lloyd. Oh, seriously, man. Right, it's getting very sweaty in here. So next we have Mr. Pip by Lloyd Jones. I think I'm going to do a separate video just reviewing this book, so I'm not going to get into too much detail. But in short, it's a partially true story set on a Pacific island with the backdrop of the largely ignored civil war in the 90s between the Redskin soldiers and the rebels. So when the fighting breaks out, anyone who can leave the island does, but the story focuses on those who are left behind and their struggle to maintain their simple village life, while their village is getting repeatedly raided and getting violent visits from soldiers and rebels. So it's written from the perspective of Matilda, who is a young girl living on the island, and it largely focuses on the relationship between Matilda and her teacher, Mr. Watts. And they kind of use reading and imagination to escape from their violent and dangerous reality. So Lloyd Jones is a New Zealand author, plug, and this book is tragic and violent and not for the faint of heart, but definitely worth the read. There was one part in particular that just fully made me feel sick, so yeah. I'm pretty sure a physical reaction means that it's a good book. So yeah, left a massive impression on me and I definitely recommend it. And the final entry is Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott. So this was the first book that I read where I wanted to write down little quotes. A bit embarrassing, but it is what it is. So the story follows the 4 March sisters. Jo, who's really strong-willed, a writer, a bit of a tomboy. Also super intelligent and probably my favourite character. I think she's supposed to be your favourite character when you read it, but if you've read it and you thought otherwise, let me know. Then there's Beth, who is super shy and frail and a bit of a musician. Then there's Meg, the hot one, who's materialistic. And then Amy, the youngest, who is a romantic but also selfish. So the story is basically about their love for each other and their struggles to survive in New England during the Civil War. Their father goes away to the war, so they're waiting for him to return. And yeah, I know it sounds quite girly, but I really don't think it is. It's got really good life lessons about overcoming poverty and like balancing the conflict between your responsibilities to your family and your own desires and ambitions. And I don't want to be materialistic like Meg, but look at this edition. Like, how nice is that? It's all like embroidered, and then like you can see like the bits coming through. I mean, it's not actually embroidered, but it's like, I don't know, it's textured. It's nice. And it's got the rough edges. ASMR? Not today. So there's not really that many books that I'm kind of protective over, but this is one. And I know I'm going to hold on to it forever and probably reread it as I like get older and just find new meaning in it. So yeah, if you have not read, give it a crack. So those are the 5 that I could think of. Obviously there are so many candidates for this list, but I had to somehow narrow it down. I might do another video like this because there's just so many more that I could talk about. But those were the favourites for now. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know your thoughts if you have any, and I'm sorry for being mainstream in my choices. That is all. Like and subscribe. Bye! Thanks for watching.